Episode 4 of The Law According to Lidia Poet Season 2 begins with Andrea marrying a rich Italian-American, Letizia. Lidia has been asked to give the speech and Jacopo teases her. A man is murdered and everyone is shocked. While the cops question Letizia, her sister, Allegra worries for her son, Romeo. Andrea begs Lidia to help as they don't know the dead man. He had claimed to be a family friend, but Letizia's father doesn't know him. Lidia pushes Forno to tell her about the bloody wedding dress which prompted Letizia's arrest. Back home, Anna has begun preparations for Enrico's campaign and even gets him a telephone. He has to work on his speech and he is nervous, asking Lidia to help. She agrees, but in return, he needs to take up Letizia's case. They talk to the woman who insists she had left the wedding dress unstained and on the bed. Andrea believes someone has framed her and is emotional as he only wants Lidia to work on the case. Meanwhile, Jacopo has launched his newspaper, The Whip. He accosts Juvara and asks for a statement regarding Attila's death since the editor was investigating his time as a bank director. Juvara simply threatens to shut him down for slander. As for Lidia, she apologizes to Forno for taking advantage of him and they make a deal. They will share each other's findings in their quest for justice. He already has something as he tells her about the pink clay on the dead man's shoe. She recalls that Jacopo's tennis racket had the same clay. At the Poets, they are discussing Mariana's dowry. She also wants to go to Naples to be with Paolo during his apprenticeship and her family is shocked. They are interrupted by Juvara threatening to sue Enrico as he believes he is using the whip to defame him. Enrico bids Jacopo to stop writing about him and Lidia agrees as it would make Juvara a martyr. In return, she takes Jacopo to the tennis court and they learn that the victim is Alfredo the caretaker. They snoop around his residence and find a chest full of cash belonging to Emilio Zanta. Zanta is a loan shark and they deduce that Alfredo was his debt collector. With the chest in the hands of the Poets, Zanta shows up and threatens to hurt them. Lidia makes a deal. Letizia's father will give 20% more than what's in the chest if he helps. Zanta is more than happy as he shares Alfredo wasn't sent to collect any debt. He simply wanted to see his son. Andrea and Lidia believe that Allegra's son, Romeo, is Alfredo's and confront Letizia. However, it is the other way around. Letizia was in love with Alfredo when she was young. He was violent and she hints that Romeo is a child of rape. She ran away to USA and pretended Romeo was Allegra's. At the wedding, Alfredo threatened to take Romeo if Letizia didn't return to him. When she refused, he choked her and she killed him with a letter opener. Lidia is upset as it is self-defense, but there are no witnesses, which means the court can paint Letizia as an immoral woman who stole Alfredo's son. Meanwhile, Andrea is upset that Letizia could not confide in him. Lidia tries to reason with him and he observes that she didn't go to USA because of Jacopo. Similarly, he loves Letizia and will take the fall for her. However, Lidia gets an idea. They plant false evidence, Andrea's signature in Alfredo's chest, suggesting he owes Zanta money. The cops will think that he killed Alfredo and let Letizia take the fall. He can never return to Italy and Letizia will join him once she is free. Letizia hates the idea as she cannot let him ruin his life for her. She asks Lidia if she would do the same, but the latter has never been loved in such a way to understand it. Letizia makes up her mind and confesses to Forno. However, the judge believes the lie as Forno keeps quiet. Lidia is more than grateful for his understanding. Instead, he is embarrassed as he likes her and wants to ask her out. She finds it cute and accepts a dinner date. Onto Enrico's speech, he is nervous and even drops his papers. He gives up and speaks from his heart, sharing how the law is relative. When the law is at odds with their principles, they need to rewrite it. He accepts that these are Lidia's ideas, but he is honored to be her spokesperson. He tears up as the parliament gives him a standing ovation. As for Cesare, he finds Nitti's housekeeper, Martorici. Nitti still pays her shop rent and Jacopo plans to seduce her to learn of Nitti's whereabouts. Elsewhere, Andrea calls Lidia and has a bittersweet farewell. Unbeknownst to them, the gunman is listening. At the end of The Law According to Lidia Poet Season 2 Episode 4, Jacopo asks Lidia if she would do the same as Andrea. She accepts that she would for a loved one and they kiss. However, she stops and tells him about dating Forno. He bitterly drinks to her relationship and walks off. Forno waits for her at the restaurant and then leaves. If there is one thing we have noticed in The Law According to Lidia Poet Season 2 Episode 4, it is that this season has been even more deft in interweaving the different subplots. While the previous season mostly focused on the case, here we have different threads which keep viewers' attention and also make the side characters likable. Andrea goes from being a hindrance to a desperate man in love, while Forno is quite ethical, turning a blind eye even when it interferes with the law. But the one who slightly surprises us is Enrico in this episode. Known for being quite virtuous, to the extent that he berates Teresa for paying off Lorenzo and is initially against Lydia's plan to frame Andrea. But right from the first season, we've seen him bend the rules and what he believes is right, like letting Lidia join him on cases when she is banned from practicing law. So, it only makes sense that he would sympathize with Letizia and give his speech on reformation to align the laws with current virtues.